Broadcasting live from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, this is TBC News. Our top stories tonight. Prime Minister cautions miners against land hoarding. Tanzania nears regional electricity powerhouse status. Good evening, I am Kanki Mwaigomole. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. The Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM vows to complete the development projects in Mwanza region, including water and road projects, school construction, fisheries, and the construction of the region's airport. Addressing Mwanza residents across various areas of the region earlier today, the CCM presidential candidate Samia Suluhu Hassan insists that the completion of the projects will further open the Lake Zone region as well as boost the economy of the region and the zone.
In the water sector, we have implemented the major Butimba project, which is worth 71.7 billion shillings, providing clean and safe water to 450,000 residents in Buhongwa, Nyegezi, and nearby areas.
She furthermore pledges the completion of the pending road infrastructure projects and the Mwanza airport, which will in turn boost the economy of the region.
Magana is road infrastructure. As Nzela Nyingi mentioned, we completed the construction of the 14-kilometer Buhongwa-Igoma road at a cost of 22.7 billion shillings. This project goes hand in hand with the construction of the Mkuyuni and Mabatini bridges, which are worth 11.2 billion shillings, which are still going on, and we are committed to make sure that we complete them.
The presidential candidate also addressed Mwanza residents in Misungwi Nyamatala Stadium, where she pledged to boost the fishing sector by buying 2 patrol boats and establish crocodiles control system in the lake.
As we move forward, and if you give us your trust once again, we'll focus on completing the 4 dispensaries currently under construction and improving the existing health centers, including those in Busongo, Kolomije, and Nduru.
The presidential candidate is still in the Mwanza region, continuing to campaign and advocate for her party's manifesto as the country's general elections near. In related news, Zanzibar presidential candidate for Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, says upon his re-election, he will ensure that essential social services, including health services, are readily available 24 hours a day in all areas of Pemba and Unguja Islands. Dr. Mwinyi, who is running for the presidency of Zanzibar for a second 5-year term, made the pledge while addressing residents of Kojani constituency, Wete district, Pemba North region, insisting that the plans will be implemented regardless of its proximity.
We've made a promise to improve things here. We are looking at the best way, either by building a proper harbour or deepening the channel so that this boat can operate smoothly day and night.
He furthermore adds that the Zanzibar Revolutionary Government intends to purchase 2 new high-speed boats to improve transport services between Pemba, Unguja and Tanga.
Very soon, we will be launching 2 new boats to ensure reliable transport between Unguja, Pemba, and Tanga. MV Mapinduzi 2 has already been repaired and will start operating soon, finally putting an end to the long-standing transport challenges between Unguja and Pemba.
During his party's campaign rally in Kojani constituency, a number of opposition members defected to Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has instructed the Ministry of Minerals to monitor mining companies that have held designated areas for a long time without developing them, including 3 companies in Ruangwa district. Majaliwa has directed Nachu, Uranex and Paco Gems Limited companies to state their plans to develop areas of land that have been designated to them, or else the titles to be revoked. The Prime Minister issued the directive earlier today when he visited the Hoya International Mining Company in Ngau, Ruanga village in Lindi region.
Ruangwa inayo fursa ya graphite.
Ruangwa holds great potential for graphite mining. Out of 6 companies that had expressed the interest, only 3 have begun actual operations: Lindi Jumbo, Elinje Company, and Lindi Graphite Technology. Some companies started years ago but have yet to make any progress. For instance, Paco Games began in 2009 and has shown no development, while Uranex at Chunyu completed compensation in 2012 but never moved forward. Others, like Nachu and Ngwena, even signed contract with the president but later disappeared. Your company, which started operations in 2024, obtained the results and license within the same year and has already reached this impressive stage. You truly deserve commendation.
On the other hand, the acting regional commissioner of Lindi, who is also the Mtwara regional commissioner, Colonel Patrick Sawala, has thanked the government for continuing to create new investment opportunities for Lindi region.
This is a great opportunity for the people of Lindi, and we thank the government for its continued effort to open up more avenues for development across the country. We also commend your leadership in driving progress here in our region. This investment marks a major milestone, not just for Lindi, but for the nation as a whole. We remain committed to implementing national investment policies and working closely with the investors to maintain a friendly environment that attracts even more projects to Lindi.
The value of the mining project is $20 million. In other news, the Commissioner for Renewable Energy from the Ministry of Energy, Innocent Luoga, says the Ministry of Energy is completing the construction of a special power transmission infrastructure for 4 African countries, including Kenya, Malawi, and Mozambique, as the country gears up to sell electricity to those countries. He made the remarks after visiting the solar energy project in Kishampu district, Shinyanga region, which will generate supplying 150 megawatts to the national grid.
We've completed the power transmission infrastructure connecting Tanzania with Kenya, and as we speak, work is underway to finalize the connection with Zambia. The project is now about 78% complete, and soon we'll extend the power generation and transmission network to Malawi and Mozambique as well.
On the other hand, the project manager, Emmanuel Anderson, says all the construction materials for the project are in place, ready for the contractor, Sino Hydro, to complete the project.
5% completion. All the necessary equipment has arrived, and what's needed at this stage is for the contractor to speed up the remaining works, particularly the construction of substations and the installation of transmission lines.
Since the days of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, Tanzania has stood as a beacon of peace and unity in Southern Africa, offering refuge to liberation movements, mediating regional conflicts, and championing dialogue over division. As one of the founding members of SADC, the country helped lay the foundation for cooperation and stability across the region. Today, under President Samia Suluhu Hassan, Tanzania continues that legacy, actively promoting peacekeeping, economic integration, and regional solidarity, reaffirming its role as a trusted voice for harmony in the SADC community. Faitha Ngaga has more details.
We mean it when we say that we want to establish non-racial societies.
In the heart of Southern Africa's struggle for freedom and unity stood Tanzania, a nation whose commitment to peace, solidarity, and liberation shaped the destiny of an entire region. Back in the 1970s and 80s, Tanzania played a central role among the frontline states, a coalition of African countries that offered political, moral, and logistical support to nations still under colonial or minority rule. Under the leadership of Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, Tanzania became a home for liberation movements from Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and South Africa.
The whites in Southern Africa have laid down the conditions under which they will live in Africa. And their condition is that they must dominate. And I'm saying on that condition, really, they have no future in Africa. This is a condition which inevitably puts them in confrontation with the majority of the people of Africa. But if they accept to live in Africa on the basis of equality, they ask for nothing that a human being anywhere does not ask, then there is no reason why they shouldn't live in Africa just like anybody else.
Tanzania's legacy in the formation of SADC is built on its unwavering belief in African unity and self-determination. As one of the 9 founding members of what was then the Southern African Development Coordination Conference in 1980, Tanzania helped shape a regional vision, one rooted in cooperation, economic independence, and peace.
Tanzania, by that time, it took a role of the mother and the father at the same time. Most of the Southern African countries and the countries south of Sahara, Tanzania has been a better place. Tanzania has been a place to run for. And many liberators and many political actors and political leaders were nurtured here. We are given a place to organize their political activities and political philosophy, dialogue, and so many others. So Tanzania becomes a sense and a center where it keeps its commitment on regional peacekeeping, on regional peace development and security at large.
From those early days in Lusaka, Zambia, where the founding documents were signed, Tanzania's influence has endured. Decades later, Tanzania's legacy remains clear: a bridge builder, a peace champion, and a founding pillar of the Southern African Development Community. Its vision continues to echo the words of Mwalimu Nyerere: without unity, there is no future for Africa. Faida Ngaga, TBC News, Dar es Salaam.
For the first time, pension funds across Africa are joining forces to pool resources for the continent's development needs, reducing reliance on traditional foreign funding, according to leaders of Africa's pension industry. The Secretary General of the Africa Social Security Association, ASSA, Meshak Bandawe, the chairperson of the International Social Security ISA East Africa Liaison Office, Patrick Ayota, and the United Nations Resident Coordinator for Uganda, Leonard Zulu, all echoed the need for new and innovative sources of funding for Africa's development needs, given the reduction in foreign funding and realignment of the global geopolitics. Bandawe, who heads an association of African pension funds, says that it is high time that African infrastructure funding requirements are addressed by Africans.
Demand for infrastructure exceed the available resource that need innovative funding solutions. And that's why the pension funds in Africa, we have just come together to ensure that we unlock this challenge. We understand also the poverty level in Africa, which is around 33%, equivalent to 3.4 trillion. And by utilizing 700 billions US dollar, that means we can unlock the poverty in Africa.
NSS of Tanzania, SNIT of Ghana, schemes coming from Rwanda, RSSB, from Morocco, Zambia, NASPA. All these have many valuable lessons for the rest of us as we try to expand our coverage and basically be able to run the investments we have to do. Money, or 10% of the money you owe us, can you invest it in human capital development, education, health, social protection, and then the debt will be forgiven. So it's how the money that is, for example, in NSSF is used together with traditional overseas or official development assistance.
The summit has attracted chief executive officers of pension funds across Africa, chief investment officers, global investors, development finance institutions, venture and private capital policymakers, and government officials from across the African continent and beyond. The Minister of Tourism, Ambassador Dr. Pindi Chana, urges service providers in the tourism sector to maximize on modern technology, especially digital transformation, to ensure they reach tourism markets across the globe. She made the call in Dar es Salaam during a training seminar on sustainability of tourism and hospitality sector, bringing together tourism sector stakeholders, conducted by a professor from Russia, Rudin University, Denis Christakouch.
Her unwavering commitment to position tourism and hospitality as a key pillar of national socio-economic growth has been very instrumental in transforming this sector. Her Excellency made a documentary film, Tanzania, the Royal Tour, but also Amazing Tanzania, after Tanzania, the Royal Tour. So you can see our sector is among the priorities in the country. Through her bold and creative initiatives, particularly, as I said before, Tanzania, the Royal Tour and Amazing Tanzania, Her Excellency has elevated our country, Tanzania's profile to the global stage, opening new avenues for investment, culture exchange, and cross-sector collaboration.
Professor Denis Christakouch insists that the service providers have a responsibility to ensure that they provide environmentally friendly services to help them reduce operating costs and benefit from green financing for environmental projects.
State of sustainability and how it might be implemented. The biggest challenge here is actually a bit chaotic nature of indices. For now, we have 4 biggest companies, ranking companies, that actually give you an ESG ranking on how well are you performing. But the problem is that the rankings inside them are a bit different. So if you would like to have an ESG rating and show that you're big in sustainability business, you have to choose. And different ranking companies offer different set of rankings, and they, well, they're not exactly contradicting each other, but some indices can contradict other indices.
As the tourism industry continues to evolve, the ability to balance growth with sustainability will define our success, both as a nation and as a global destination. We take immense pride in the collaborative nature of today's training, conducting in partnership with our esteemed colleague from Rudin University of Russia.
Currently, the tourism sector in the country contributes an average of 17% to the national income and is expected to attract 8 million tourists by 2030. It has been 2 years since the October 7th attack in which Hamas-led fighters launched a multi-pronged assault on Israel, killing 1,200 people and abducting about 250. 2 Tanzanian agricultural students, Clemens Mtenga and Joshua Molel, were killed during the October 7, 2023 attack. To understand more and the real situation on the ground, my colleague Esther Dels has spoken with Professor Peter Mhando.
It has been 2 years since this tragedy has occurred and no solution seems to be reached. And today we are joined by Professor Peter Mhando all the way from the United States of America.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So it has been 2 years since this tragedy that has the global attention, the Hamas and Israel trying to find solution. So what does this mean in these 2 years?
Well, it means that, for lack of a better word, both parties are tired of what's happening. It's getting to a point where Nobody is gaining ground, and the misery that's coming out of the conflict is unbearable.
So we have seen President Trump trying to chip in as the solution, bringing solution into this conflict. How realistic is it?
Actually, personally, I would say it's more of an ultimatum to Hamas than a solution. It has gotten to a point where Israelis were going to overrun and literally take over Gaza. But the outcry from the international community has been so loud to the extent that President Trump thought it would be better to take action.
So, Professor, do you think this conflict will come to an end to a certain point? What will be the remedy, a realistic remedy into this?
I'm not a foreteller, but I have confidence in the next generation. I believe the next generation would not tolerate this kind of apathy that's going on, this kind of killings and massacres, for something that could be discussed on the table, for something that should not have happened. But as you know, the problem has been here for a long time, and I think it's high time that a permanent solution is brought to the table, and most likely the two-state solution would bring a permanent solution to it.
Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Tonight in Beyond the Ballot, we take a look at the National Convention for Construction and Reform, NCCR Mageuzi, and the National League for Democracy, NLD parties' manifestos.
The NCCR Mageuzi Party is a political party established and registered in 1993. From 1995 up to 2010. The party fielded presidential candidates in every general election. In 2015, it joined forces with other opposition parties to support a single presidential candidate. In 2020, NCCR Mageuzi did not field a candidate. However, this year the party is among 16 political parties contesting the presidency of the United Republic of Tanzania. In the 2025 elections, the party's manifesto focuses on 11 key priorities, including education, health and social welfare, national security, the fight against corruption, as well as ethics and culture.
Health and social welfare are among our key priorities. We will ensure that Tanzania's health sector is well equipped and supported. Another part of our agenda is improving the environment and housing. We want every Tanzanian to live in a clean environment and have access to decent, reliable shelter.
Turning now to the National League for Democracy, NLD. This is one of the first parties to be formed and registered shortly after the introduction of the multi-party political system. In the 2005 general election, NLD's presidential candidate Emmanuel Makaidi ranked 7th out of 9 contestants. This year, the party has returned to the race, contesting for the presidency, parliamentary, and councillorship seats. Its manifesto is anchored on economic growth, education, and health.
In our manifesto, we have outlined plans to establish university programs and research centers that use artificial intelligence to generate accurate statistics and reliable information. If we win these elections, we will address and ultimately solve the challenge of unemployment.
Presidential, parliamentary, and councillor candidates of both NCCR Mageuzi and NLD are currently campaigning across different parts of the country, guided by their party manifestos. Teddy Mpanyanga for Beyond the Ballot.
And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Kanki Mwaigomole. Good night.